Hi, my children. Arthur Hale here. I am 75 years old. And for the last 30 years of my life, I stopped blindly following every new health trend that came along. Now, before you misunderstand me, listen carefully. If you break a bone, go to the hospital. If you have an infection, seek treatment. If you're in an emergency, thank God for modern medicine. This is not rebellion against life-saving care. This is something else. This is about how to live. Because somewhere along the way, we stopped asking that question ourselves, started outsourcing it. I used to be afraid. I was 45 when a doctor first told me something was wrong. My cholesterol was a little high. My blood pressure was borderline. My weight was concerning. He showed me charts with red sections, percentages, projected risk curves. He spoke with certainty. I went home scared, not sick, scared. And that fear followed me for years. I started seeing danger in food. Danger in salt, danger in butter, danger in eggs. Everything was a risk. And the strange part? I felt fine, strong, clear-headed, capable. But a number on paper told me I was broken. And that is when I began noticing something. Medicine changes its mind in my 50s. They said fat was the enemy. In my 60s, carbs were the enemy. Then red meat, then eggs. Then salt, then coffee. Then suddenly, some of those things were healthy again. The headlines flipped, but the confidence never changed. Every decade, absolute certainty. And I began asking a simple question. If the advice keeps changing, why does the authority never waver? I am not anti-science, but I am pro-observation. And what I observed was this. Human beings were eating simple foods for thousands of years, long before nutrition labels existed. And suddenly, in the last 60 years, everything became complicated. The day I simplified at 55, I made a quiet decision. I wasn't angry. I wasn't dramatic. I just simplified. I went back to food my grandfather would recognize: eggs, beef, potatoes, milk, vegetables from the ground, fruit from trees, no powders, no bars, no engineered meal replacements. And something strange happened. My energy stabilized. My brain felt clear. I stopped obsessing over numbers. I stopped fearing my plate, and my body responded, not magically, not overnight, but steadily. The body is not stupid. Your body has 3.5 billion years of evolutionary intelligence behind it. It knows how to regulate. It knows how to repair. It knows how to adapt. But we override it constantly. We eat things that make us feel bloated and tired, but because the label says heart healthy, we keep eating it. We sleep 5 hours and blame aging for our exhaustion. We sit all day, buy supplements for joint pain. The body is not confused. We are. Movement. At 75 years old, I do not have a gym membership. I do not count steps. I do not chase optimization. I walk. I carry groceries. I garden. I bend down and get back up without using my hands. That's my test. If you can sit on the floor and stand up without assistance, you're doing all right. The body was built to move across uneven ground, not sit in climate-controlled boxes for 10 hours. You cannot out-supplement a sedentary life. Sleep is sacred. Here's something productivity culture hates. Sleep is not laziness. Sleep is repair. I go to bed when the night settles. I wake when the sun rises. No glowing screens before bed. No pride in staying up late. In 75 years, I have never once felt proud for sleeping less. But I have felt powerful waking up clear-headed. Sleep cleans the brain, pairs the body, balances emotion, and yet we treat it like it's optional. It's not. Numbers are not diseases. Let me say something carefully. A number on a chart is not a disease. It is a data point. Context matters. Symptoms matter. How you feel matters. If you feel strong, think clearly, move freely, sleep deeply, you are not broken. Medicine is extraordinary at crisis, but life is not a crisis. Aging is not a pathology. Wrinkles are not a malfunction. Gray hair is not an emergency. Somewhere along the way, natural human processes became medical conditions. And that's where I stepped back. The people who aged well, I've known healthy eaters who died young. I've known men who ignored every health rule who lived long. So what separates them? Connection, purpose, belonging. You cannot eat your way to 100. You cannot biohack loneliness. You cannot supplement meaning. I have neighbors who knock on my door, young men who ask for advice, friends who expect me to show up. Isolation ages a man faster than cholesterol ever will. Purpose is fuel. At 75, I still have a reason to get up. My garden needs tending. People call me for perspective. There are stories only I can tell. The fastest way to age is to feel unnecessary. The fastest way to stay alive is to feel needed. Purpose is the longest lasting nutrient there is. Fear is profitable. Here is something uncomfortable. Fear sells. Fear gets clicks. Fear fills waiting rooms. If you believe you are fragile, broken, one meal away from disaster, you become dependent. But the human body is resilient. It survived wars, depressions, pandemics, hard winters and harder summers. It does not collapse because of an egg. It collapses when rhythm is lost, when movement disappears, when sleep is sacrificed, when connection dies. What I actually believe. I believe in doctors for emergencies. I believe in surgery when needed. I believe in diagnostics. But I do not believe life should be lived in constant medical supervision. I do not believe normal aging is a malfunction. I do not believe every discomfort requires medication. And most of all, I do not believe fear is a healthy foundation for living. What I do instead, I eat real food. I move daily. I sleep deeply. I stay connected. I ask questions. If a professional tells me something, I ask, why? What's the evidence? What are alternatives? What happens if I do nothing? A good doctor respects questions. A fragile ego does not. At 75 years old, here's what I know. The body rewards consistency, not perfection, not optimization, not obsession, consistency. Real food, real movement. Real rest, real relationships. Real purpose. That's it. No miracle, super, fauve no secret hack. No extreme plan, just rhythm. I do not know how much time I have left. It could be 20 years. It could be 2, but I know this. I am not spending it afraid of my breakfast. I am not spending it chasing the next diet. I am not spending it measuring my worth by lab reports alone. I am spending it outside, with people, in sunlight, moving, thinking clearly, laughing loudly. Stop waiting for someone else to tell you how to live. The knowledge is older than the institutions. It lives in nature. It lives in rhythm. It lives in a body that is listened to, not overridden. You are not fragile. You are not defective. You are not one meal away from collapse. You are resilient. But resilience requires responsibility. Eat like a human, move like a human, sleep like a human, connect like a human. Have something to wake up for. That's the whole prescription. And the only side effect is a long, full life. I am 75 years old, and I am still here. Not because I chased every trend, but because I chose simplicity over fear. And you can too.